Hey guys, Cindy here. I just wanted to do a real quick overview video. I was on a huddle call just the other day, and her name was Judy, and she was absolutely amazing. And she was talking about cold market prospecting. And for me, that's a huge one for me because now I've kind of gotten past that warm market, or you're kind of to the end of your friends and family, and now you kind of need to figure out what to do next. So her video was really, really good, and or the call that I was on was really good, and I wanted to share some of the things that she went over. And also, there's another gentleman by the name of Cesar Rodriguez who is also very, very good at cold marketing. So I will share a few things that I got from him. First of all, one of the things, there's quite a few top things that she talked about that we'll go into a little bit deeper. But first of all, is have an attitude of gratitude. Make sure that you are 100% understanding the value of what we have. That Pruvit is amazing. That Keto OS can change lives, literally can change lives. And you have to truly have that attitude of gratitude because that will help you know that anybody you go to, you're going to be able to help. Another one is keep inventory. If you treated this like a regular business, you would have inventory in your store. People are our inventory. So you want to continually be adding to your inventory. So you're going to want to continue to add to your name list all the time. Every time you meet somebody, even if it's somebody that you don't know if you'll ever have enough guts to talk to, they need to be on your list. And you need to continue every single person that you know their first and last name to, I want them on the list. Even if you don't know their last name, put where you know them. Judy, grocery store, Samantha, Hy-Vee, or whatever it is, put that person on the list and a little bit of information behind it so you know where you know that person. Because you know what? The more you practice this, you might get more comfortable and you're going to want to talk to them. So don't exclude anybody. Another thing is cold market prospecting is a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's the name of the game. It's how you're going to make your business and to get where you want to go. So you're going to have to learn to love it. And that just means practice a little bit at a time. Look for people with their antennas up. You're going to know within the first few minutes of visiting with somebody if they're somebody that you may or may not want to share it with. And if they don't seem like they're the type of person that you want to get in business with or anything, don't worry about it. You get to choose. That's the nice thing about this business. You can choose who you go into business with. You can choose who you bring this opportunity to and this product to. You don't have to go to everybody because the company tells you this is who you have to go to. You can go to anybody you want. So the next thing is follow your gut instinct and talk to those that you think you should. If you are you walked by somebody or you've talked to somebody a whole bunch and you have never brought the opportunity up to them, but you really feel like you should, trust your gut instinct. Just suck it up, be brave, and go back and do it because the chances are they're going to be the person that you were looking for. Some of the other things she said is look for people that are friendly. You know, if somebody seems like they're very friendly, if they're walking by you and they say hi and they're smiling, their chances are they're going to be a little bit more open and receptive. Somebody that's walking by scowling and looking at the floor maybe isn't going to be your top choice, especially when you're first learning how to cold prospect. Make sure you have high energy. Always make sure that you've had your Keto OS or that you're drinking it when you're out and about talking to people. Another one is have script ready. Some of the things that she covered in her script, which I'm going to read them kind of because I wrote them down and I'm still practicing getting good at it. And so some of the things she said, like when she first starts, is she will say things like this. Hi, I'm looking for someone who's looking for me. And then she kind of pauses a little bit. And she says, I'm in the area today looking for people who are looking for maybe just a little bit more energy, fat loss, a little more focus, or some extra income. Do you know anybody that's looking for any of those things? And that's it. That's her quick 5-second little spiel that she sets out there. But she says that you want to make sure. Okay, back again. Sorry, I lost you there. So she does that quick little spiel. And then what she says, that you need to make sure that you know what your next step is going to be. Don't get excited if that person and start freaking out and jump all over that person and start puking at the mouth about Pruvit and Keto OS. If they say, well, yeah, I'm looking for all those things. How can you help me? Don't freak out because you're going to scare them off and you're just going to totally blow the whole thing. So a lot of times what she'll do is she'll start with a phrase like, if I would you. And what she means by that is, if I send you a quick 3-minute video, would you look at it? And then I'll get back in touch with you later and we can talk about it. Or she'll say, you know what, now's not the time or place. I see that you're at the park with your kids or you're grocery shopping and I'm on my way to a meeting. How about if I get your name and number quick? All I want to do is I want to be able to invite you to look at this quick 3-minute video and then get back in touch with you and answer any of your questions. And that's how you're going to be able to get their name and number. So she said that's really important, but she said she uses words like invite instead of saying, "Oh, I've got this awesome video you need to watch." She uses words like, "I'd like to invite you to watch this video," because then it feels more genuine. And I believe that that's true. Even the way she was saying it, it truly made me feel like she was more genuine in what she was doing. Some other things, sorry, like I said, looking at my notes here. She goes, and then if you've got a little bit more time, say you're sitting next to somebody and you're on an airplane, or you are in a car ride and you're meeting some people for the first time. If she said, if you've got some extra time, do a little mini interview, just like because you're the CEO of your future. I mean, you're the boss right now. So she said, do a little mini interview. She says, ask them where they're from, what they do, how long they've been doing it, do they enjoy it, and what do they do for fun. But she says you have to keep in mind, you have to be truly engaged in what that person is saying. Don't be staring off at the next best thing that's walking along that you can't wait to go talk to that person as soon as she's done talking. Make sure that you're completely engaged in what they're saying. And she says, continue to ask them questions as it goes on. You don't even have to bring up anything about the product right away. Find out more about them. Find out what they do, which what they do might lead into how long have you been doing it, and then how long have you been doing it, and go, gosh, wow, you've been doing it that long. You must really enjoy it. And let them answer from there, because that could be your segue if they say, well, it pays the bills, or, oh, yeah, what else am I going to do? If they go into something like that, that gives you your avenue to bring up what the opportunity that you have. So then you can go back into, well, if I would you, then you can start that whole process there. And then she says, if there's people that truly feel like right now you're really struggling to get them to say yes, or they're not ready, even you've had multiple conversations with them, there's a phrase that she did, and she said, I see this is not for you right now, but can I keep you in the loop and contact you in a month? Because she says people's circumstances change. She goes, you have to think of it like if somebody came up to you and offered you a piece of gum, and right now you just didn't want a piece of gum. It doesn't mean that you don't like that person, or that you didn't like the gum that they had, or whatever it was. You just didn't want one at that time. Maybe a week from now, maybe a month from now, maybe 2 months from now, you will. So keeping them in the loop is another one of those real friendly kind of willy-nilly type of phrases that they don't feel like they're locked in. They don't feel like they're tied down. It's a simple little phrase. It's quick and simple to use, and people find it very non-threatening. So that was a great one that I liked. She says the one thing you want to remember too is when you follow up with them in a month, you want to say something to them like, as promised, I'm following up with you, and I just want to see where you're at, or I just want to see how it's going. I just want to touch base with you and see if any circumstances have changed, if you'd like to look at it again. However you're going to phrase it, whatever is going to work for you. Everybody's going to have something different that's going to work. But she said it's really nice to say, as I promised, I'm following up with you, because that's building credibility for you. Not only did you do what you said, you're calling them again, but you're building that credibility with them. Even for right now, even if they say no again, ask them still, hey, is it still okay if I keep you in the loop and I give you a call in a month or two? What works? So make sure that you're still sticking with them. So those were a lot of the things that I got from her. I'm looking at some more of my notes. She challenged us to practice by talking to 2 people a day for 6 days for 1 week. So then what you've got is you've got 12 people a week that you're going to be talking to, 48 people by the end of the month, okay? She says when you're first starting doing this, you're maybe going to be looking at 1 to 2 people out of 10 that are going to say yes. And you don't know if they're going to be a customer or promoter. You have no idea at this point. But 1 to 2 people, which can mean up to 8 or 9 people every month. So and that's just starting off talking to 2 people a day. And that could be people that you're just practicing on, getting more comfortable, that maybe they're friends and family, but you still haven't brought it up to them, or you're just practicing the small talk, learning how to cold contact. So that could be, huge. By the end of the year, you could be looking at over 100 people. So that's just doing a couple people a day, and those are just cold contacts. Those aren't people that are going to come back around later and go, gosh, I see you're still doing it. How's everything going? Now on to Cesar Rodriguez, and he was doing some about closing. And I know sometimes this is where, too, people start throwing questions out there, and then all of a sudden you start falling apart and you panic. So what he has done is, what he says is, don't play fetch. Don't be going back and forth, let me go ask that question. You run over, you call, and you get the answer, and you come back and you give him the answer, and he gives you another one, and it's just over and over again. All you're doing is playing fetch. You don't even know for sure if that person is truly interested. So what you're going to say is, great question. Is that the only question that's holding you back from getting started? And find out right away. Say, if I can get the answer for that question, is that the only thing that's holding you back from getting started today? And be quiet and let them answer. And if they say, well, yeah, I mean, that's the only holdup I have, great, then go ahead and figure out the answer and move on. If they say, well, no, I'm wondering about this, this, and this, find out as many of their objections and get down to the real objection of what they're doing. Because a lot of times there's going to be multiple objections, and you might as well just get down to the true. They're just throwing questions out at you just to kind of pacify you, to just feel like they're part of the conversation, when really they're probably saying, get lost. So a lot of times what he says is, so knowing that the answer to that question, you would be ready to jump on board and get started. So then okay, is that the only thing holding you back? If they say no, say, obviously there are a few things holding you back. Do you mind if I ask what they are? So that you can get into finding out a little bit more in depth what's going on further. Another one you can say is, obviously you have a few areas of concerns. Do you mind if I ask what they are? And so that you can get all of their objections and all their questions up front, so that you're not running back and forth and literally playing fetch with them. So I thought those were some really, really good phrases on how to say it. Another one that he says he hears all the time is, I don't have the money. Okay. And he says the majority of the time it is not, I don't have the money. That is a very quick scapegoat for people. And a lot of times what it is it's not a money problem, it's a vision problem. They don't see how what we have is going to value them, or why it would be worth the money to get invested in it to start it. So you really have to make sure that, sorry, my arm is kind of falling asleep here. I think I need to get a selfie stick. So you really have to make sure that you're putting some real value on how is it going to help them. They've got this problem and you've got a solution. How are you going to really make this a value to them? Another thing they said is, or they just don't believe enough in themselves to know that they can make that money back or that it's worth it. So he said an example is, if I had a new car sitting in the driveway, and it doesn't matter if you're selling somebody something that's $5 or $50,000. If I had a car sitting in the driveway that was brand new, and I said, if you came up with $150 in 2 days, you can have that car. How many people that have just said, I don't have the money, would come up with that? Or if you come up with $50,000 in 2 days, I will give you this $250,000 house. People will beg, borrow, and steal because there's value. Now there's real value to it. So that's what we have to make sure that we're doing, is we're creating enough value that they can see that, oh my gosh, yep, this is not even an issue. Let's get signed up. So I think for now, that's what I have. I'll cut it, I don't want to go on and on and on because otherwise it's too much to take in. So I just wanted to share with you because I thought these suggestions were absolutely awesome. Have a good night.